Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom. And today we're going to recap 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, the Tell-All Part 1, No Limits. Now, the Tell-All is going to be in 4 parts, and I don't understand why they have it in 4 parts. They definitely have enough stuff to use just from last night's episode all by itself, because all those couples individually, I should say, are a mess together and separately. So yes. So if you all watched it, I'll be happy to listen to your comments while we recap the show, and we can just see who we thought was the people on there who, or the couples on there who may be together, not together, or what's going on with the Tell-All Part 1. So I will wait a few moments for people who want to come on, join before I get started, and go from there. So again, I want to say hello and welcome to everyone to Millennial and Mom. I'm Mom or Kay, and we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, the Tell-All Part 1. Now, I also dropped the link in the comment sections for anyone who want to not just drop your comments to go back and forth, or if you want to join me live, you don't have to show your face. You can turn off the camera and we could talk that way as well. So again, welcome everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Happy New Year. It's 2023. Can you believe it's already January 2023? Honestly, where does the time go? Time just seems like it goes by faster and faster. Now, does it go by faster and faster as you get older, or just time just go faster and faster, and then one day you realize you're a particular age and the years have gone by? So either way it goes. So I'm doing great. We're doing great out here. It's warming up a little bit. It's raining. Well, it's trying to rain, but wherever you are all, I hope you are doing safe, had a great holiday season if you celebrate. And we're about to get into the 90 Day Happily Ever After Tell-All Part 1. So welcome to everyone in the replay gang. And also too, before I begin, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like the video, and again, leave your comments down below. And we also have a membership if you're also interested in that as well. So all right, well, I guess I will go ahead and get started. So on last night's episode of the Tell-All Part 1, they did a different concept this time. All the couples on the show got together. Those are the ones I say, when I say all, I mean everyone who's living in the States. For example, Usman, Michael, and Sumit participated. You know how they have them on the television camera? They weren't in New York where it's filmed, but all the other couples and individuals were in New York. They did it differently. Like I said, a lot of them got together beforehand, before the tell-all even started, to say hello, to catch up, and just kind of, I don't know, feel out how each other were doing. So I thought that was different this time around. So technically, it was the pre-tell-all before the actual tell-all with the couples. All right, so there are a lot of behind the scenes, like I said, and it starts off with Angela. Now we see Angela, now it starts off like 3 days before the tell-all, 2 days before the tell-all, and then the tell-all. So when we see Angela, she is at home looking for a outfit to wear, and they have her on the phone with her granddaughters. And she's talking about, oh, Mimi needs to find something to wear for this tell-all. You know, Michael's not going to be there, and how upset she is. My thing with that, though, is why are you telling your young granddaughters, who must be roughly, I say between ages of maybe 9 and 12, what the issues what the issues are with you and Michael? You know, I mean, yeah, you could call them and see how they're doing, and maybe ask, get a suggestion if that's what you want to do, what you're going to wear. but telling them that, you having problems with Michael, he's trying to come over here. What is that about? That is something I just don't understand. Now, I'm sure that she heard a lot of going back and forth with their Mima, with Michael anyways, but I just really thought that was inappropriate to bring the grandkids in to talk about Michael and what you're going to wear and all this back and forth with that. Because even when she gets off the phone with the grandkids, then she talks to Skyla. Now, Skyla is the mother of these children, and she's telling Skyla the same issues. Now, if she wants to talk to Skyla about this, who's a grown adult, fine, but not your granddaughters. I just really thought that was something else with Angela. But Angela, I think that TLC, in my opinion, I think they feel like Angela must be the draw, the moneymaker to the show that she's on, for her, the way that she's acting, her behavior. But I have to disagree with that. I think and have seen and read that a lot of people are turned off by Angela's behavior towards Michael and just her behavior in general. So I don't think that's necessarily a draw to TLC. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Hi, Sharon. How are you this evening? And so then we see Ed. Ed is also getting ready to come to come to the tell-all. He's getting his stuff together. Ed drops a bombshell and says, well, but is it really a bombshell? Ed says that, him and Liz aren't living together. They broke up. He's given the fairy tale reasons as how they broke up, why they broke up, and he feels it's better for their relationship if they don't live together and, like that. Let me read your comment. Sharon, you said Angela's too old for the nonsense she does. I don't like her at all. Exactly. I don't like her at all either. And this nonsense, correct. She needs, like I said, maybe TLC thinks that this is a draw for them to bring in viewers. But in my opinion, I think it's the opposite. Like the storyline for Angela Michael, that ship has sailed. And she's just gotten more and more aggressive with her drama. So, I'm sure people like to see drama, but that back and forth with Michael and now everyone else in the mix, no. I personally am over that. But anyways, back to Ed. Like I said, he's giving the fairy tale reason as to why him and Liz aren't together anymore. All this is the pre-tell-all. And he said it's better for their relationship. And then when we see Liz, we learn that she has her own place and she has been kicked out by Ed. Those are her words. And that she's been couch surfing this whole time. And Liz goes on to say when she's sitting down talking with her friend that she thinks that it's a good thing that they're not living together because it gives each other their own space. But if she feels it's a good thing and she's on her last straw, why is she upset and emotional about it? She is a good 20 plus years younger than Ed. And she feels like she's on her last straw. Like if you're emotional about being kicked out, which, I wonder what it is that Liz sees in Ed that she feels that he's the one and he's going to be there for her all this time, because Ed definitely has not shown that to Liz, especially on their journey on this show. But we'll get into it more when we go on along. Read some comments. Hi, Devontae. I'm listening to you. Can you really add none because I don't watch this? Okay. Hi, Dolores. Yes, I can add none. But anyways, and then so it's like 2 days before the tell-all, and then you have Andrei and Jovi. All right, so those two, sitting at the bar, those are the two unlikely people that I would think that would be sitting at the bar, because Andrei, his attitude is just as nasty as Angela. The difference is it's just concentrated with his wife's family. So Andrei and Jovi are at the bar drinking, trying to catch up because they feel like they haven't had a good, not a good time. They haven't really got together since the last show. Hi, Catrice. Hi, everybody. Dolores, Devontae, Sharon, everybody who's watching, listening, and on the replay. I appreciate it. Thank you. And so the conversation, and I'm just surprised that Andrei and Jovi are having a calm conversation, even though the conversation turns left. But I'm just surprised that Andrei doesn't give the same energy that he gives to Elizabeth's family the way he gave to Jovi. Because Jovi, when he was talking about does Andrei see that he could possibly be the person who's causing all the drama and the negativity in Elizabeth's family, he's like, no, why would I? Why would I see that? They had these problems before I came here, which that's slightly true. They did have some issues before you came, like most families have issues, right? But with Andrei, the way he talks to Elizabeth's family, his brother, okay, I can see why him and Charlie go back and forth. I can see why he has a problem with Charlie. Because listen, from all the way to that wedding in Moldova when Charlie got drunk and was talking smack, to the barbecue and just different little things, they go back and forth. I get that. But the sisters, the mom, everybody except Chuck, Libby's dad, Andrei really thinks that it's the family's fault that they're like this. No, it's the family's fault. It's not the family's fault, excuse me. It's the family has an issue with Andrei because he seems like he's keeping Elizabeth from making her own decisions by telling her, like, this is the way we do it. You like it, you don't, too bad. So it looks like Elizabeth doesn't have a say. And that's the part that I think that Andrei is not seeing. Hi, Ashley, how are you? And so when they're talking, Jovi said, so, one day Libby is going to wake up to see that you're the issue. And so Andrei brings that up to Jovi that he is having a problem with his green card. He's having a problem getting renewed and he doesn't know why. There's been a bunch of delays. But Jovi said, oh, really? Because see, Yara, her green card is for 10 years. And Andrei was like, what? 10 years? Like, what do you mean 10 years? Like, how did that happen? He's like, I need to know those tricks. And Jovi was saying like, no, when COVID happened and all those restrictions, some kind of way, the steps she went through was a 10 years. So she's solid, right? And so, yeah, I don't think that set well with Andrei because I think Andrei thinks, and I think we're going to see it too as the show goes on, the tell-all, that he thinks that not just Elizabeth's family is stopping his process, but he thinks it's Charlie. And to be honest, I think it's Charlie too, like Charlie and his wife. I think maybe they had something to do with it. For real. But anyways, Andrei and Jovi, their conversations again, they get on an even keel and then it goes left, kind of like a tit for tat kind of thing. And so then Andrei tries to make a point to Jovi. It's like, oh, well, your family, with you and Yara, you think you're better than me kind of thing. You're the party boy, you're out at strip clubs. And, if I was Yara, I wouldn't put up with that either. And so, Jovi is like, pretty much, don't compare apples to oranges. Like, I'm nothing like you, right? And I have to agree. Yeah, Jovi, he kind of does need to pull back with the alcohol thing because it comes across like maybe he goes a little bit too far. But as far as personality-wise, like, no, that don't compare Jovi's personality to Andrei's personality. Such a big difference. So, but I do think Jovi also needs to pull back to the point of, yes, he does like to go to strip clubs. Yes, he did have Yara come one time. But, there's a compromise with that. And I think that maybe Jovi doesn't know how to compromise when it comes to his parting ways. And then Yara, she has her own businesses now and she's making her own money. So I think that she feels she has a little bit more say. And what she does, that's his wife. But I think that's causing a strain in a relationship even before they came this far in the show, like the Jovi's ways of parting caused a rift in a relationship. Well, after that meetup with Andrei and Jovi, Jovi couldn't take no more of Andrei and what he was saying about him in general, and he walked away. So, that's how that went. What'd you say, Sharon? Andrei think he knows it all? He does. And Dolores say Andrei's a bully. Definitely a bully. So then next up is Usman. He's headed to Laos to participate in the tell-all. And his backstory is how Kimberly is, she can't have any more kids. And that's what he really wants. Deep down, yes, Usman is a traditional kind of guy. He's going to have the multiple wives. He's going to have children. We've seen his mom and his family say this to all the ladies who brought over from way back to baby girl Lisa. If you saw those first episode with Usman to Kimberly, nothing with the family, nothing with Usman has changed. They want that baby. They want multiple wives, and that's what it is. But the difference is, in my opinion, Usman also wants he wants to further his career. He wants to come to America, knowing good and well at the same time, Kim can't have no kids. That's why he asked his brother to adopt their son, his nephew. And they was like, huh? Like, what? And I would have been the same way too, right? And so Usman says that he doesn't care what people have to say about how he feels or anything like that. And he says, even though him and Kimberly have broken up, Kim still calls and texts him on a regular basis. And I'm like, I guess so. Kim, you know, when they broke up, a week or two ago when we saw them, she just seemed like she would be the type to like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, do the olive branch first. But I honestly think that Usman is telling the truth. I think that he's done with Kimberly. I don't necessarily think that Kimberly is done with Usman, just based on what she says later on when we finally do get to the tell-all. And so then we see Jenny. Jenny says she hasn't been to America in 3 years. I didn't realize it was that long. I thought that maybe she's gone back and forth, but I guess when she went, that was it. But then again, she did go before COVID, so maybe she was stuck there. I don't know. And so she was like, oh, well, you know, she's happy that everyone speaks English and she likes it here meaning New York, and she's walking around. And one thing that happened with Jenny, she's meeting up with Kim. I'm like, how did Kim and Jenny get to be, you know, link up with friends? But I guess Kim reached out to Jenny, and Jenny, I mean, Kim might as well have said, Jenny, you're my hero, for lack of better words, because Jenny said, you know what? Our relationships are similar. We grew up similar because they're both grew up in California. We have younger men. So I guess Kim feels like there's a connection with Jenny, but there's one small thing that Kim isn't thinking about. And that is, in Usman's tradition, again, like I mentioned, they want the baby, the multiple wives, things like that, versus Sumit. I mean, yes, they're traditional too, but they're not, you know, they don't like Jenny, but they're not pushing Jenny away to the fact where, you know, she's got to accept multiple wives. They just don't like Jenny, period. Like, they like, this is your elder. You don't need to be with your elder. Jenny Sumit got married. Like I said, they don't like it, and that's just what it is. But Jenny says that, like I said, there's similarities between the two. And she asked, the conversation came up with, would you come back to America without Sumit? And Jenny said that she thought about it. Like, it might be with Sumit or with or without him. Like, he may have to make the choice. But I thought she gave him that choice multiple times. You know, am I wrong? Didn't she give him that choice along the way the show progressed? Even when Jenny's daughters came out, like, you know, well, he needs to leave with me and be with me in America. Is much more peaceful. So I don't know. I also thought that Sumit, I thought that he was denied for a green card too. I could be wrong, but I thought I heard that along the way when they were first on the show too. So there's a reason why Sumit's not here. Not just because Sumit said he didn't want to be in America, but I also think that he was denied to come for some reason. So if someone has clarity on that, let me know, because that's what I think happened. And so Kim was saying, you know, Kim and Jenny were talking about seeing Angela too on the show. They were like, well, you know what? I hope that she's calm and everything. Because listen, I will fight for my girl Jenny. You know, take my heels off for her. And I'm like, for real? You would do that for Jenny if Angela came walking down the way? I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess. So then we see Shahida and Yara. Again, you know what? Now that I think about this, I think that they linked up people, the producers, who are similar in personality, character, and relationship. Because that's the only thing that it makes sense now, especially with the Jenny and Kim thing. Like, with Kim being like, oh, hey, we're close from age. Oh, we have younger men. So, but with this Shahida and Yara meeting up, even though Yara is younger than Shahida, I think them meeting up and Yara actually giving advice to Shahida, again, like, okay, is because possibly they're in relationships where the man is more dominant, being controlling of the finances and, having babies and things like that. So I think that's why they met up. Not too much really happened in their scene, except the part that I pulled out of it was with Shahida and Yara, is that Shahida is saying that she still doesn't know any real finance of Bilal. They don't have any joint bank accounts and things like that, versus Yara is saying like, what, you're the wife, so you should know what's going on, trying to encourage her, how come you don't have access to his things. But if you notice with Bilal, he seems very reserved. There's something about Bilal, I'm not sure what it is, again, something I can't put my finger on, but there's something about him that doesn't quite add up. I'm not just saying with it, whether his business adventures, his bank account, something is not adding up to me with Bilal. Does anyone else see that, or is it just me speculating? Dolores, you say, I think you're right about the producers matching the cast. Yeah, I think so too. So really, that was it with Shahida and Yara. So now we're finally backstage, and it's tell-all day. And so you see Andrei, you have Ed, you have all the cast coming in. Apparently Angela comes in last, but Andrei takes time out to talk to Yara. He's trying to, in my opinion, he does it kind of like a call out to Jovi, like, oh, so, kind of like to me, like, oh, so he thought he walked out on us for drinks last night, so I'm just going to tell him what me and Jovi were talking about. So the conversation with Andrei and Yara, Andrei throws out the fact that, oh yeah, so, Jovi wanted to go to the strip club with me. I mean, what was the point of that? That's not a big deal. Yara knows that Jovi likes a strip club. Like, was that supposed to get him in trouble? When Jovi goes out, I'm not going to say Yara should expect it, but she knows that he likes to drink and do other things. So I don't understand what Andrei was trying to get out of this. But when Andrei was saying how a lot of women from Ukraine, regardless if it may or may not be true, but when he said that they're gold diggers, Yara was like, excuse me, don't talk about like that about my country. I have two businesses and my own money. So what are you talking about? Don't compare me being from Ukraine and you being from Moldova. Those are two different things. And I was like, okay, Yara, go ahead and speak up. What you say, Sharon? Bilal seems sneaky. Yes. And so I was just kind of curious, like, what was the point of that with Andrei? Like, for real, like, what did he think he was going to accomplish with that? So, and then, so then everyone walks in the studio to start the tell-all, and Angela, she comes in last. Angela has to make her grand entrance for everything, but why she spritzes herself with water, like holy water kind of thing, and talk about, God, give me courage or strength to get out there. Like, for real? Like, what? When you are like the main starter of everything, you can't even sit down. You can't even say hello without her walking. Everyone's sitting down. Shauna's saying hello to everybody. And here comes Angela pointing out, first she starts with Usman, talking to, calling him the B word, and then Usman's not here for that. He's like, you know what, you need to sit down because you're the biggest one I see, pretty much. And then you have Angela turning to Usman, pointing to Michael, like, do you see what's happening here? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, wait. You just gaslit this entire situation. Like, what you want Michael to say across from his TV monitor to get on Usman for? Like, what is that about? And so apparently Michael was trying, how Michael is, right? He's trying to say whatever, but he gets stumbled over his words. He's like, oh, like, don't talk to my woman like that, whatever he's saying, right? And then Angela didn't think that was good enough. So she's about to walk I guess, to sit down before Yara's like, hey, you need to be respectful. And so Angela walks to Yara in her face, like trying to intimidate her too. I'm like, what is really going on? Do they not have security on this show? I mean, they just let Angela just walk around and do whatever it is that she wants to do. The audacity of Angela, like for real, the audacity. So then Angela decides she's too upset to even sit down or say anything, or too good, I should say, to anybody. So she walks her butt outside to her friend who looks exactly like her aesthetically. If you saw her, you know, the same similar surgery in the face and this and that. I mean, you know, I'm going to throw shade. They need to be unbotched, like for real. But anyways, so her friend's trying to calm her down, asking her what happened. And she's like, don't talk to me. Just don't talk to me. Just leave me alone, right? So she walks around the block. But when we see her again, she's actually talking to Michael. Now, Michael also gets up when Angela leaves. And I'm thinking, like, where's he going? Like, for real, where are you going? I mean, you just in a hotel room. Where are you going? So Michael gets up and he says, you know what? I'm not going to have my baby feel like this. You know, I need to make sure she's okay. So Michael calls Angela. He FaceTimes her. She don't answer at first, so he does it again. So when he FaceTimes her, when we see the call, Angela's back standing next to her friend. So I guess she walked around the block or at the corner and then came back. So Angela's like, did you see how they were talking to me? Did you see? And Michael's like, well, yeah, that's what I'm calling you. I want to let you know I'm sticking up for you and everything's going to be okay. I'm like, no, just stop. Stop, Michael. Red flag, red flag. Like, what is really going on here? But Angela seemed to have picked that up and was like, oh, okay. You know, I guess in the moment, because Angela's a moment kind of person, made her feel better. So anyways, let me read some comments. Dolores, she said, Sharon, I agree with you. And about Bilal, he's very condescending. Yep. Then you also say, Angela's too old for that type of behavior. I'm tired of seeing her. Exactly. Sharon, you say, Angela being a Karen trying to take over the show. Exactly. Angela is a Karen. But you know what? They allow her to take over the show. Like, not just this tell-all, any tell-all that Angela has been on, she's taken over the show. And like I said in the beginning, I don't understand why TLC producers or whoever else is involved with the show thinks that we as the audience think that is okay. Because again, if the shoe was reversed, if it was a man doing this, the uproar would be egregious. Like, the uproar would be egregious. So anyways, let me jump down to the notes. So Angela's outside, so there's no longer any Angela for right now. Michael's not on for right now, so they decide to start the show. And you know what? I just can only imagine how the couples are, you know, what they're thinking about this whole tell-all, because exactly what they were saying behind the scenes is exactly what's happening. Angela came in being the bully, stomping around and making it all about her. And that's what it was. And so now they start the show. And let's see, who was up first? So Sean talks to, let's see, Jenny and Sumit. Sumit, of course, they miss each other. Jenny's emotional because they haven't been apart for this long. She tells Sean what we learned when she was talking to Kim, that they're trying to get Sumit here to the United States. And then Sean moves to Jovi and Yara. Sean asks Yara, is she back in the States? No, back in New Orleans. She goes, no, I'm here. And she goes, here? It's like, yeah, New York, I'm here. And so she says, so are you moving back to New Orleans? And then Jovi says, well, for now, he's in New Orleans. See, he's in New Orleans, not necessarily Yara. And that they're looking to live somewhere warm, like Florida or somewhere like that. And Yara's like, I don't know. We haven't figured it out yet. So do you all think that Yara is trying to move back to Prague and be with her family? Do y'all think so? Because see, the issue that I put out maybe a week or two ago when Yara stayed while Jovi went back to work is that their daughter has an American passport, so she's an American citizen. So it's not necessarily going to be feasible for Yara to take their daughter back and forth, unless the daughter can obtain dual citizenship. So that is going to be an issue when it comes down to it. Seems like Yara and Jovi might be a little shaky with Yara not wanting to come back to the States and her wants to be in Europe all the time. And then Sean talks to Bilal and Shahida. She said that the last time they were at the tell-all, Shahida gave a 9 to 10 month timeline to have a baby. Well, she's not pregnant yet, but Bilal says they aren't using protection right now, and he's here for it. But they have things to work out. I'm thinking, what is it that they need to work out, or is it something that he needs to work out? Because Shahida she's on that. She's adamant about turning 40. By the time she's 40, she wants to have a baby. So last tell-all, she was 37. This tell-all, I'm guessing she's 38. So her window of having a baby is closing. And Bilal, I think he wants Yara to feel like, Shahida, to feel like he's on board with that baby, but I don't think so. I'm not sure how old his other children are with his first wife, but I don't think he wants to really start over. But to keep Shahida happy, I think that he's going to say the things that she wants to hear, at least also too, for the moment. And then we see Elizabeth. She is somewhere backstage or at home or wherever. She is, at the time she was 8 months pregnant. She has since had their baby boy, Winston. So she wasn't there at the tell-all with Andrei. So, and then we move to Ed and Liz. So, you know what? Before I move to Ed and Liz, let's jump to Kim and Usman. So they both confirmed that they're both still together. I mean, they're not together, but yet Kim says that she wants to be friends with benefits with Usman. How, Kim? How and why? How can you be friends with benefits for someone who's all the way across the world? And why would you want to? After he said all those things about you, like in her words, she said that she was fat, she needed to get a tummy tuck, like he was doing her a favor. Like, why would you want to continue with someone who is not ready for you or wants to be with you at all? But Kim, I mean, you talking about somebody, in my opinion, acting desperate. That's Kim, and Usman, he said, they could be friends, but I don't think he wants to be with Kim no more. Friends with benefits or nothing. But Kim said she wanted at least one more time with Usman. For what? Because again, out of her words, he wasn't having sex with you while you were there. So what are the friends with benefits for? You could do that on the phone. You could do that FaceTime. So, I mean, am I wrong? What do you all think in the chat? Like, what are the friends with benefits if you weren't having sex then? I don't understand it. Now let's move to Ed and Liz. So Ed and Liz, they tell everyone that they are still together. And they tell everyone that not only are they together, they're still engaged, but they're living in separate houses. Now, that came as a surprise to the couples on the stage because they're like, what kind of relationship is this if you're together, you're engaged, but you're not living in the same house? And did y'all see the body language that Liz had? I mean, she was on the stage, but with Ed, but she wasn't really, I don't know. She didn't seem like she was comfortable. I mean, she had every reason not to feel comfortable. I think she felt like maybe she was going to get judged by what people would say or think. And I mean, people had a lot to say about the relationship because they were trying to figure out, like, how can you even continue to go forward if really you're separate? So let me read a comment. Dolores, she said, Kimberly need to let Usman go and find someone. Exactly. And so Ed and Liz, it didn't take long for them to start arguing about who was right, who was wrong, about the jealousy aspect. Now, is it just me? But what is it that Ed is what is it to be, let me phrase that. What is it to be that Liz would be jealous with Ed for? Because I don't see it. I know beauty's an eye of the beholder, but I personally don't see it. And that is no shade. Because as the season went along, Ed seemed to be jealous of any little nuance that Liz had going on. Like even at their engagement party that they showed, there's someone who they, in their words, called a lesbian that apparently worked with Ed before that thought that Liz was cute and told Ed that, well, you know, you don't treat her right, I will. So at the engagement party, Liz was over there talking to the lady, and Ed was saying, so this is what you want, this is who you want to be with. I mean, you talk about throwing things all out to the wind, like blowing up for no reason. Like, what was that about? You know? And then they broke up their engagement that time. They broke off their engagement, what, 2 or 3 times or whatever. And then we see Ed and Liz also bring up the conversation when he was trying to show her about him being a photographer. So I guess this is where the jealousy part would come in with Liz, because Ed photographs a lot of models. And so she said that he wasn't showing her what to do as far as photography was going on. Like she was jealous or something like that. And I'm like, but that's his job though. So honestly, I think the age gap that they have, what is at least 24 years. I think that's where it comes from. The age gap that she's younger than Ed and that she can just go on and just do whatever, versus Ed that's like in this bubble. And I think Ed calls himself a ladies' man, but is he really a ladies' man? Like, honestly. So I don't understand what's going on. Exactly. I don't understand why Liz is with Ed in the first place. I don't. Me neither. Sharon says, no, nigga, it ain't no catch. He's not. Thank you, Dolores, for the super sticker. And so it's just a big to do. I mean, they're arguing back and forth. And then when the questions are asked, not just by Sean and by the other cast members, like Ed is answering, but he's trying to justify his point as to why he feels that way and why he feels like living apart is the best thing. And, you know, like they both say, this is the last time that this is going to be. Like, if we can't make it this time, it's just not going to be any time. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, honestly, if any couple other than Angela and Michael need not to be together in a relationship, it is definitely Ed and Lisa, like hands down, you know? So, but anyways, so then Sean has, Liz says that her and her mom actually made a, a profile to be on a dating app, because apparently Ed has gone back on dating apps. She said one of the last times that her and Ed broke up, you know, to catch Ed to see what he was doing. And Ed was like, no, I'm not on no dating app. So apparently Ed, in his words and Liz, said that he likes to go on Asian dating apps. And so they set up a profile, and Ed was pretty active about it, you know, active being on the website. And Ed denies. And so Sean asked Liz, so looking back, do you think that Ed would be on those particular dating sites because of maybe dating Rose was on that site? And Liz said she didn't necessarily put 2 and 2 together, but I kind of think that she did, because why else would you choose an Asian dating site? You know, why else would you choose that unless you happen to go through Ed's phone to see what he was up to? And so then Sean throws out, to Ed, have you been in touch with Rose lately? And he's like, well, I don't know. Not that I can recall. Listen. You know, if you are talking to somebody, you already know. He's trying to convince us that he doesn't know if he talked to Rose in the past. And so then Sean was like, for transparency, let's welcome Rose. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. So that right there, if I was Liz, I would have right then and there gave Ed his ring back, because, you know, when they bring people on the show, to like debunk your point, right? And so that was the first time that Rose and Liz had met each other face to face, and they were cordial. They're like, "Oh, you're pretty too." And Rose said that her and Ed have been talking to each other in the last few months. And Ed, then he admitted it after Rose said it. So right then and there, like, I don't even understand why Liz was just sitting there as calm as she was, maybe to hear the story. And next week in part 2, I guess we'll hear the rest of the conversation. But honestly, for me, like, that would have been my cue to give Ed his ring back for the 15th time and take myself off the stage, because see, the conversation was no longer about me. You know, you would have been done embarrassing me and anything else that come about with it if I was Liz. So let's see, Miss Omega. Oh, Happy New Year, Miss Omega. This episode was a hot mess. I agree with Dolores. Why is Liz with Ed? Why should he keep going back to him? I don't know. But right, if it was me, or was it you, would you have not gave Ed that ring back? For you have Rose on the show, and she confirmed that, yeah, we were talking. So what was the point of talking if you're so happy together? Like, I don't understand that. Even Ed's friend, I can't remember his name, Rich, he was saying that he didn't see them lasting either. You know, like, he didn't understand the dynamic. There was lots of jealousy going back and forth. And I don't know. And also too, Ed is also a hothead. I'm thinking, why are you a hothead? Like, for real, like, what is going on to make you a hothead? And I think that Liz, she has some type of, I said this before, I think she has some type of daddy issues, clearly, because there's no reason why she would continue to take this type of treatment from Ed, who she said put her out, had her things packed, she had nowhere to go, she was couch surfing, to hearing that his mom don't like you, his friends don't like you, probably his daughter don't like him, to now coming on this tell-all saying that you are now on your last straw, to seeing Rose. Oh no. So that right there, that did it for me. I'm thinking, like, why is she still sitting here? Now, granted, she might walk off next week, but when Rose popped up and he said that would have been my exit then. That's just me. I don't know. Mr. Megan said exactly. He lied right to her face. That would have been it for me also. Exactly. Like, I don't understand what else was left. So again, this is a 4-part tell-all. So the stories I'm interested in hearing is, when Angela finally does come back, I want to hear what Usman has to say to Michael. I want to hear their interaction, because, you know, Michael has to stand up for his wife, Angela. He's got to sweet talk her, even though next week, or whichever episode is going to be on, it says in the upcoming scenes, Kim also gets into it with Angela, even though Angela says that, you know, I don't have a problem with you, is with Usman. And then Ed chastises Andrei. I don't see how Ed could chastise anybody, honestly. And then Michael, we're going to see Sean call him out, talking about, oh, he's back on IG. And then Angela's going to have those sniffing. She don't have no tears. She got sniffs. Angela just sniffs real hard. Invited someone for Valentine's Day. So, yeah. So that's going to be coming up on the later episodes of the tell-all part 2. But again, I want to know again about Ed and Rose. What's going to happen with that? I also want to know about, like I said, Angela, Usman, and Michael, how that's going to come across next week. Andrei and Elizabeth. Only thing interesting to me, even through their whole seasons, is Elizabeth's family. The family, her sisters, her brother. That's what makes the show to me. Like, I really don't care what Andrei has to say. He is such a hothead off on his own thing that I kind of like tune him out, because all he does is cuss and carrying on. And Elizabeth just sits there and just like listen to it and take it too. So I just honestly, like Jovi said, I really would like Elizabeth to finally wake up and see what is really going on. And then Bilal and Shahida, I mean, do they really have that much of a story? It's the same thing, copy and paste with them. If she's not pregnant, then they don't have a story. You know, because Shahida knows what it is. Bilal has his stuff separate, and that's what it is. Yara and Jovi, honestly, unless she's saying that she's going to go to Prague or somewhere else to stay. They don't really have a story. So I don't know who else. Jenny Submit. So, anyways, I don't know why it's going to be a 4-part show. I think they're going to bring in tell-all. I think they're going to bring in more people to confront people with. Maybe we'll see or hear from the person that Michael is talking to for Angela. Because if they could bring in Rose, I'm expecting to bring in someone that Michael was talking to, not just those text messages and voice recordings. So that's what I have to say about that. So really, that was about it for this part 1 of the tell-all. It was really mainly pre-tell-all. And then when they finally got to the stage, it was mainly Ed and Liz. So it's not really a whole bunch with them, just the back and forth of the arguing, the jealousy, you put me out, and now with the Rose thing. So I think we'll catch up more about that next week. So I will be live for that part 2 tell-all next Monday as well. That'll be coming up soon. It's closer it gets to the date. But I also want to remind you all that Married at First Sight, if you're watching it, season 16, Nashville, comes on this Wednesday. So I will be making a video about that, a recap review about that. And also Love Without Borders, those who watch that as well. That's also on this Wednesday as well. So I'm going to be busy. And then you also have Love After Lockup. So I'm going to be busy this week. I'm going to try to maybe, depending on what happens on Married at First Sight, to come live for that. If there's anything that happens on the show, because it promises drama. But if it's just the weddings, it'll just be the recap and the reviews. So I want to thank everyone who has joined me. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone on the replay. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There'll be more shows coming, and maybe Millennial, outside of her college and work obligation, will join me for a show upcoming as well. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share. And until next time, everyone, thank you so much. I look forward to Married at First Sight 2. Dolores, looks like it's going to be lots of interesting things going on this season. So... and I'm here for it. So, all right, everyone, until next time, take care, live simply, be grateful. We'll see you later.